Hi guys, welcome in. Hope you're doing okay. I'm your host Ben, and this is Who's Clues. As always guys, let's recap last episode's story titled Death at the Sapphire Soirée. The annual Sapphire Soirée was underway at the Royal Azure Hotel. However, the honorary guest, Celeste Moreau, was found murdered in the gardens. The main suspects were rounded up and revealed to be Victor Langston, the suave real estate agent who was Celeste's former fiancée, Isabella Davereau, the fashion designer who'd been seen having confrontations with our victim earlier in the week, Julian Crowe, the author, who managed to write a manuscript closely resembling our victim's life and death, Amara Singh, the journalist, who may have uncovered more secrets during her investigation, and finally Charles Blackwell, the hotel owner, who was using our victim's charity to launder money. Now that we're back into the glamorous party, let's get to the conclusion. The detective focuses on the pendant and torn letter. She deduces that the killer had intimate knowledge of Celeste's habits and planned to poison her champagne. The broken pendant reveals the key. Celeste recognised her killer and struggled to defend herself, pulling off their necklace in the process. The murderer is revealed to be Amara Singh. Amara had uncovered financial fraud within Celeste's foundation and planned to write an exposé. However, she discovered Celeste was not the culprit. Charles Blackwell was. Fearing her story would collapse without incriminating Celeste, Amara poisoned her to fabricate the narrative. Amara confesses under pressure, stating that Celeste's death was necessary to reveal the greater corruption. However, her carefully laid plan is unravelled when the detective produces the pendant chain, which matches a necklace Amara wore earlier that evening. As dawn breaks over the Royal Azure Hotel, the Sapphire Soirée is a distant memory, replaced by the sombre reality of betrayal and ambition. Amara is taken into custody, while Charles's crimes are exposed through the detective's findings. The remaining guests leave with heavy hearts, their glittering masks discarded along with the evening's illusions. The detective reflects on the tragedy of a life extinguished amidst such splendour, a grim reminder that even in the most dazzling settings, a darkness often lurks. And that ends that tale. So it was Amara Singh. I wonder if you guys got that one, the sneaky journalist. Now that the Sapphire Soirée has ended, let's begin a new murder. Yay! Perhaps I shouldn't say yay to a murder. Anyway, let's begin. This episode's story is titled The Thin Blue Line. Set in the bustling 22nd Precinct Police Station, a place meant to uphold law and order becomes the scene of a chilling murder. On Valentine's Day evening, as officers wind down their shifts and joke about their plans, a shot rings out in the evidence locker. One of the station's detectives, Eric Mallory, a seasoned and respected officer, is found dead at his desk. The scene is chaotic. Blood pools on the floor, a file case of notes is scattered, and a safe containing confiscated evidence is open. It's clear that someone in the station is responsible. Let's go through the characters at the scene. There's of course our victim, Detective Eric Mallory, known for his integrity but also for digging into corruption within the precinct. He was respected by some and feared by others. We also have Lieutenant Dana Cross, the commanding officer, struggling to keep the precinct in line. She's tough but fair, though she's been under scrutiny for alleged misconduct. Next is Officer Jamie Perez, a rookie officer who's idolised Mallory. Jamie was one of the last people to see him alive, but has secrets of their own. Next, we have Detective Mark Hensley, Mallory's former partner, who grew distant after Mallory began investigating corruption. Hensley has a temper and a gambling problem that Mallory discovered. We have Sergeant Lena Hart, the evidence clerk responsible for managing all items in the evidence locker. She's meticulous, but was caught arguing with Mallory earlier. Next is Corporal Ryan Tate, a charismatic officer often seen as the life of the precinct. Ryan is charming, but has been accused of cutting corners in investigations. And finally, we have the Internal Affairs Officer, Hector Crane, an outsider assigned to investigate corruption within the precinct. His presence created tension. He was seen talking to Mallory shortly before the murder. Now those are our suspects. Let's progress with the events. Detective Mallory's murder shocks the precinct. Known for being a straight arrow, Mallory had been working late in the evidence locker, reviewing files connected to an ongoing corruption investigation. Suspicion quickly falls on his colleagues as the evidence points to an insider. As our detective doesn't belong to this precinct, she's brought in to investigate. She quickly realises that the station's close-knit camaraderies hides simmering tensions, rivalries, and dark secrets. She begins to go through the clues found at the scene, starting with the evidence safe. It's found to be open, and a key piece of evidence, money from a previous drug bust, is missing. Next, a crumpled note is found in Mallory's pocket. It reads, "Meet me in the locker at 8 p.m. We need to talk." The handwriting is rushed and anonymous. Some bloody fingerprints were found on the edge of the safe, but it doesn't match Mallory's prints. It's discovered that Mallory was killed with a service weapon that's unaccounted for in the station's inventory. Next, found near the desk, a torn photo shows Lieutenant Cross and Sergeant Haar in a bar with an unknown individual. Next, the detective checks the security footage. The station's cameras were tampered with, but a blurry figure is seen entering the evidence locker minutes before the murder. Our detective then interviews the suspects and discovers further details. Mark Hensley admits Mallory found out about his debts and was pressuring him to come clean. However, Hensley insists he would never hurt his old partner. Next, Sergeant Lena Hart admits arguing with Mallory over his constant questioning about missing evidence, but of course denies any involvement in his death. The rookie officer Jamie Perez confesses to idolising Mallory, but was afraid to speak up about shady practices they had witnessed. Perez was seen lingering near the evidence locker, but swears they didn't enter. Corporal Ryan Tate claims he was at the front desk at the murder, but inconsistencies in the timeline make him a prime suspect. And finally, Hector Crane reveals that Mallory was helping him gather evidence against multiple officers in the precinct. However, Crane's aggressive tactics made him many enemies, and some believe he may have silenced Mallory to protect his own career. And this is where we pause this episode's tale. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's go through our suspects. First up, Lieutenant Dana Cross, the commanding officer. She was found to be under scrutiny for alleged misconduct. Next up is rookie officer Jamie Perez, seen at the lockers where the murder took place. Next up is Detective Mark Hensley, known to have gambling problems, but also arguing with our victim Mallory. Next is Sergeant Lena Hart, the evidence clerk. Could she have murdered Mallory for his constant questioning of missing evidence? Perhaps you think it was Corporal Ryan Tate, with so many inconsistencies in his alibi. And finally, do you perhaps think it was the Internal Affairs Officer Hector Crane? Could he have killed Mallory to protect his own career? As always, all will be revealed in the next episode. Also, I felt like a really old, miserable man giving one of the clues there, those bloody fingerprints. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.